Hello, and if you are an English learner in North America and you want to improve your pronunciation, reduce your foreign accent, and have more of an American/Canadian accent, hi, my name is Jessie, and that's what I help English learners do. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the place for you. I'm going to do some quick announcements just before we start. And here they are. One, if you have a question for a future live, maybe you cannot make it to the live, maybe you're on TikTok and you want me to answer it because remember, YouTube and Facebook have priority. Feel free to submit a question. The link is down below this video. So you click submit a question, ask your question, and then once I answer it, I will shoot you a little email and tell you, hey, I answered your question on a live. Also, if you're interested in getting my top tips and you would like my free guide to improve your accent faster, make lasting and permanent changes to your accent, get there faster, get momentum, comment top tips on Facebook or YouTube, and I will share with you how to get that. Last announcement before we enter the Q&A, and if you are here on Facebook, on YouTube, feel free to say hi. Where are you from? You can even tell me on YouTube on TikTok. So, quick little announcement here. Imagine if you're an English learner in North America, imagine knowing exactly what's holding you back and finally have the clarity to fix it. Let's say in your pronunciation, there's something holding you back. Imagine people focusing on what you're actually saying and not where you're from. If you live in your second, third, or fourth language, you know it is kind of frustrating to be asked, "Where are you from?" They focus People tend to focus on that rather than your actual message. Imagine getting personalized feedback so you're never left wondering, "Am I practicing the wrong way? I'm trying to improve my accent and I just want to make sure I'm doing it right." Imagine knowing that, yes, I'm doing it right. And you guys could probably imagine why I'm doing this, but imagine building habits in just 5 weeks that will help you to keep improving your accent long after the program ends. And then imagine having a clear plan for your accent instead of wasting time on random YouTube videos and exercises. Um, this could be yours. Okay. So if you're interested in joining my next or future um, accent, 5-week accent boot camp, comment boot camp in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. If you're on TikTok, check out my bio and I will let you know how to get that. So I'm going to check out the questions first. I have a bunch of questions ready to go on my end, but I do want to give you guys who are here a chance to ask questions. So I don't have any questions here on YouTube or Facebook, but I think I have a lot of things going on here on TikTok. I don't see specific questions, but ask them, okay, guys? This is why I'm here. So I got a question. Can you teach me English? I actually don't teach English lessons. I help people improve their pronunciation and reduce, I guess I hate the word foreign, but reduce their foreign accent if they want to sound more American. Okay. Hello, je n'ai pas trouvé ta chaîne YouTube. Let me share with you the name of the YouTube channel. It is, I'm going to flip this right here, but it's American Accent Training with Jess. That is my YouTube channel. Good morning, Farzad. I'm from Peru. I love it. Tuhami from Canada. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm Ethiopian. I love it. Abush Sam says, "What's your qualifications? What do you mean? Ask me more." I'm an accent coach. I'm not a teacher. People call me teacher, but I'm an accent coach. All right, I'm going to go to the questions here because I don't see any here, but I believe I'll be watching. First question. Why do people ask me where I'm from even though I'm fluent? Okay, this is this is something that happens very often. When you speak in English in an English speaking country, there are usually two things. I could say three, but I'll say two things that if people hear it, they'll say, "Hmm, something sounds different." One is that there are obvious English mistakes. Please know that English speakers make English mistakes, but they're kind of like accepted. But then there are English mistakes that English learners make. So, for example, if you say, I have 25 years old, people are going to know. We don't say have, we say am. I am 25 years old or I'm 25. So, obvious English mistakes will let people know. Two, um, the second thing is that it's going to be your accent or your pronunciation. So, when I say pronunciation and accent, that's why I was like, this could be two things. I mean, the sounds that you're using is different than what an American or Canadian is expecting. So instead of saying this, you might say dis. Instead of saying uh, yes, you might say yes, yes, or something like that. Okay. So there's the sounds off. It could also be the stress, which syllable you are stressing in English, and it could also be the rhythm of your English, right? So usually it has to do with having, you know, making mistakes in English. Or two, it could be your pronunciation or accent. And I'm going to share something that I want you guys to know. I do have playlists on my YouTube channel. I have pronunciation help, connected speech help, all that kind of stuff. I do have a playlist. I know that I'm not an English teacher and I don't really like grammar, but I do have a playlist called Common English Mistakes. There it is. Common English mistakes. So if you think, "Oh, I think I might be making these mistakes," you can watch that playlist, and what's fun is that I will say the sentence, and I'll say, "Can you spot the English mistake? Answer in 3, 2, 1." So you guys will see the mistake. If you know the mistake, you probably don't make that mistake. If you don't know what the mistake is, then you probably make that mistake. So it's a really great way to self-test yourself, self-evaluate yourself, and fix any English mistakes that you currently make in your English. So that's really helpful. Another thing you can do, I have it in the description of my videos here, but I do have this app where you could chat with chatbots. I don't share personal information with the chatbots, so be careful about that. It is AI, but you can practice with a chatbot. You could speak or you could type and you can set it so that it corrects you. So whenever you make a mistake in English, you get that feedback. So when you get that feedback more and more, you'll start to self-correct yourself and stop making those mistakes. So that's one way to fix those English mistakes that make it obvious that English is not your first language. So I'm hoping that helps. And if you want to work on your accent and improve your accent, and you're interested in my free guide, which why not? Comment top tips to get my free guide to improve your accent faster and make lasting and permanent changes to your accent. There you go. I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to see what questions do we have. I'm going to check TikTok because there's some stuff going on. Diane, hello. Uh, 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 uh. You look more European, someone says. I mean, European descent. Yeah. Like Ukrainian, Romanian, got some European influence here, but I am Canadian. Yeah, few generations, a couple generations. I mean, if you have a BA or MA, and of course, if you're interested in working abroad. So I do have a bachelor's. I'm not a yeah, I laugh because I'm not a fan of university and how things are taught at university, but I got a degree because I was like, I should get a degree. I started with a degree in education, so to become a teacher, and then I stopped and changed it just to be done. So I guess I could work abroad. Do I want to? I used to want to. I mean, it depends on what kind of opportunities I get. I guess I get. Farzan, why are you laughing? Did I say your name wrong? I have a problem with the R in the word in words, in like in the words or in general. Uh, Honestly, just practice. If you can target it, just practice. It takes time and get feedback and practice with a native speaker if you can. Um, Long time no see you. I say long time no see. Yes, it's been a while. It's been a while. I'm going live now, every day from Monday to Thursday, at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. For the next few weeks because I want to connect with my followers and I want people to know also that I have spots left in my 5-week accent boot camp for people who want to really get momentum in their American accent and make some solid improvements. So that's why I'm here. Good afternoon, Diane. I saw it again. So I'm going to say hello again. Hello, Luis Beto. Why is it hard to speak fluently when you understand everything? Practice. It's practice. I know when I do not speak Spanish for a while, when I start speaking, I'm like, and it's not smooth, it's not fluent, it's choppy. It's normal. You just need to practice, get comfortable. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get. And there are times if you don't practice recently, it might not, you might not be able to have that, that smoothness to it. Hi, Rita Sam. And hello. If you guys have questions here on YouTube or Facebook, ask and I will answer your question. In the meantime, I am going to look at TikTok and see what questions we have. And Cam says, hi, Jesse. I have one question. When I want to speak, like to create a sentence, sometimes I can't. Practice. Honestly, just practice. It's scary, it's hard, but like it's hard to put yourself out there and to be vulnerable too, but just practice. Get feedback. And then Riti says he's from Cambodia. Woohoo! I love that. I love that. I love that. I can help you find a job. I'm not looking for a job abroad. Thank you though. That's kind. That's kind of you. All right. Charles said, I'm in the province of Quebec. So I'm from Saskatchewan, the province of Saskatchewan, and I'm in Quebec. I don't really give more de- like details about that. I hope you have an amazing day too. Awesome, awesome. So now I'm going to answer my next question since I'm caught up on the questions on TikTok. Where is it? There we go. Okay, this is a question. This is a question that I get from some of my clients, and that is why do people sometimes misunderstand me even when I use the right words? This is a really good question because there's a lot of answers to this. The question that I get from my clients is a little bit different, and that is why do people sometimes misunderstand me even when I properly pronounce the word? Okay, there's a few different reasons. One reason is it might be the stress. Let's say you pronounce it correctly. Let's say you use the right word, you pronounce it correctly. It could be the stress. Um, for example, instead of saying majesty, you might say majesty, majesty, right? If someone hears that, the stress is off. Stress is in a different place. So it's like, huh? What did that person say? Um, or I'm trying to think of another word. Uh, Canada instead of Canada. Canada, right? If the stress is in the incorrect part of the word, it can really be confusing. It sounds like a different word to us, even if you use the correct pronunciation. So that's one reason. The second reason could be your pronunciation of that word, but maybe the pronunciation of words around it. A third reason why people might misunderstand you, even if you use the right words, could be that your stress, your rhythm, your intonation of how the words go together do not sound like what the native speaker is expecting. I know this sounds really weird, but if you have an intonation or a rhythm that is different than a native speaker, it does take more energy for a native speaker to kind of like focus and understand because we have this expected way of speaking that when it's not, we need to concentrate and it's harder to understand. That's why it's important to know also about, connected speech, um, intonation, stress, rhythm, and stuff like that. So those are some of the reasons, and I'm hoping that helps. And as always, I'm just going to do a quick little promotion here saying that if you do want my free guide on how to improve your accent faster, comment top tips to get my free guide, and I will share with you how to get that. All right. I have a youth conference in a few days. Do you have tips for speaking confidently? That's a really good question. Whew. Does it have to do with your accent or just being confident? Um, and I think I need to hear you to really give personalized feedback, but I'll say in general, when people get nervous, I'm like that. I'll speak really fast. I'll just speak really fast and and it's hard for people to understand. So be calm, speak fast. All right, speak fast, speak slower, slow down if you know that you start to speak fast when you're nervous. And I also lower my voice a little bit because when I'm stressed, I talk like this and I get maybe not exactly like this, but I get really so just calm yourself by speaking slow. And if you need to lower your voice a little bit just to calm yourself, that's cool too. I'm hoping that helps. I know your advice, like the advice might be different depending on your situation and if you've already done public speaking. But yeah, let me know if that helps. I'm starting to study English. Thank you, Jess. You're very welcome. And Ma, um, I'm going to put something down below just to show you something. If I don't know how much you've checked out my channel, but I do have a bunch of playlists. You are on YouTube, I can see that. I have pronunciation help, connected speech help, learning English tips, common English mistakes. So know that I have a lot, and I mean a lot of free resources for English learners. So check it out. You go to not learn English with Jess. I know that's technically my name. American Accent Training with Jess on YouTube. Click playlists and you'll see a bunch of different categories for, to help you on your English learning journey, your accent reduction journey, all that kind of stuff. And you're from Laos. Cool. That's really cool. I love it. I think there's elephants there, right? I'm sorry if that's a stupid question, but um, in the city where I'm from, we have these like multicultural celebrations where there's different buildings that represent different cultures. We have like Chinese pavilion, Ukrainian pavilion. Well, there's Kiev and then the other one. Um, and then there's like Hungarian and yeah, all sorts of countries. And I think there's a Laos pavilion, and I think I remember seeing an elephant, like, not a real one, but, like, photos of elephants and stuff. That's cool, really cool. So I'm gonna check TikTok to see if there's any questions, which I see I have 41 messages that I'm missing, and then I will come back and answer a few more questions because I have some really good questions pre like, pre-prepared. Okay, I think I'm gonna skip that question, I'm sorry. Je suis français et anglais. Amazing, Sylvain. Hi, Jose. Bienvenue, vous. Amazing. Hey, Jesse. Uh, I'm not really sure if I'm gonna answer that question because I'm not really sure what the intention is. Sorry. Hello, I'm a B2. I have a B2 level in English, but I'm still struggling with speaking. Any advice? Um, like I say to anyone, it's important to just practice. Yeah. If you mean speaking like pronunciation or you don't really know what to say, it's hard to speak fluently. smoothly. It's just a question of practice. So if you can find someone to practice with, I know there are a lot of like English language exchange groups in cities all over the world. I know that there are English people everywhere. And I also know that there are other options to find language partners. So I'd say if you can practice every day, that would be a really good idea. Even if it's with a chat bot. So I do have an app that I use for my French. No, more for my Spanish. My Spanish, a little bit of Ukrainian, and I talk with a chat bot, and it gives me feedback, and it helps me to just like practice producing what I want to say. And when I use it, like when I use it for like a week or so, even my neighbors who are Spanish speakers will say, "Wow, your Spanish is getting so good." It's because I've practiced it. I'm not as rusty as rusty as I was, before practicing. So practicing it. Yeah. What's the difference between alone and lonely? This would be a good question to type into ChatGPT. I have a ChatGPT guide as well. So if you go to my website and you look up blog and freebies, you can get my free ChatGPT guide. But you could just ask ChatGPT that. But alone means that you are alone, like you're not with anyone else. It's just you, nobody else. Lonely is more of the feeling of feeling alone. Maybe you're sad. Oh, I'm feel lonely. I don't have a boyfriend, right? That would be lonely. I'm married. I have a husband, but I'm just giving an example. Um, yeah, so lonely is the feeling of like, oh, I feel like I'm alone. And alone just means you're just alone. You went to the movies alone because maybe that's what you want to do. But maybe you don't. So lonely is more of a negative feeling. Alone is just stating that there's nobody else with you. And says, yeah, always my lips freezing. Freezing, not frizzing. Frizzing is hair. Like freezing when I want to speak. Yeah, it's just practice. Just practice. Um, okay. Good, good, good. And hello. Thank you for saying hello yesterday. You said yesterday, she were had me one grill. I'm not sure if I understand, but I know if you speak Arabic, I think like she, he, I feel like you might drop that pronoun. So sometimes when you translate it, it might not be exactly what you want. And her husband in my small cafe in Morocco. Okay, so I'm guessing there was somebody who's Canadian with their husband that came to a small cafe in Morocco. Um, so I mean, everyone's different, Canadians. I mean, there's some nice Canadians, some not so nice Canadians. Yeah, cool. Um, Salam. Cool. I'm gonna go on to my next question. If I see comments I don't understand, I won't share them. Alright. Um, just before I get to my next question, on YouTube and on Facebook, I'm gonna answer Mohammed's question right here. Hello, can you tell me the right place to improve my accent and vocabulary? So accent and vocabulary are two different things. Um, so I guess it depends on what you want to work on. If you want to expand your vocabulary, one of the best ways is just reading. And I mean, you can listen to like YouTube videos and stuff like that. And when there's words that you don't know or that's new, you can look it up. But reading is going to be a really, really, really great way to improve your vocabulary and expand it with your accent. Um, I actually have a full free mini course. It's my accent reduction framework mini course. So if you are on YouTube and Facebook, if you comment framework, I can share with you the link. But you're on TikTok. So if you check out my website, American Accent Training with Jess.com, go to blog, go to freebies, you can get my free accent reduction mini course. That's a great way to start to see the technique so you don't waste your time. I also have a free guide with my 5 tips on how to improve your accent fast, accelerate that progress, and have lasting and permanent changes to your accent. But a really easy question or a really easy answer would be check out my YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel, American Accent Training with Jess. Go to playlists and you can click my playlist, Speak Like an American. Repeat after me. Speak like an American, repeat after me. Just it's really I have so many, so many resources. Mm, yeah. Next question. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Um, I got a question on YouTube. How can I study with ChatGPT? Do you have some tips? Yes, I do. I do. I'm actually going to find it right now. Um, if you just forgive me and be patient, I'm gonna give you in the comments of I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen so you can see this. And then I'll also give you the link because I think it's really important that you have like different ideas of how to use ChatGPT and you can see all of my free resources because I create resources because I want to help as many people as I can. All right. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen here. I'm hoping it's gonna show up like I want it to. Yes, it does. Hey, I don't like the background though. Why? Why is the background like this? Um, there we go. Do black. So you can see on my website, I have this freebie section. These are all gifts for people who want to join my email list. I mean, if you join my email list or you just want the gifts, you can also like unsubscribe. But I have my free accent reduction mini course, right? I have my free ChatGPT prompt guide for English learners. That's what you want. That is what you want. And then my free 5 top tips to accent reduction guide and my free fluency cheat sheet. This is the one. The second one is the one that you should download. I'm going to copy and paste this into the comments, but those are all my freebies. If you go to americanaccenttrainingwithjess.com/blog/freebies, that's what you're going to find. I tried to put all my free stuff in one spot so people can find it. So if you're here, this will be going out to everything. Yep. You can definitely click on that, save it for later, because you can check out all my free gifts for people who join my email list. Next question. Hello, teacher. Please advise me, like what books to buy. My question is for everyone who asks me for recommendations is what do you love? What interests you? Because I can give you books that I like and you might think they're really boring. And I think it's really important not to do boring things if you want to learn English because it's hard to stay motivated. So, if you want to tell me what kind of books you like, I might be able to think of some off the top of my head, but I definitely will create a blog post on AmericanAccentTrainingWithJess.com on book recommendations because I get this question a lot. For me personally, I love books that have to do with business, entrepreneurship, psychology. I love psychology. I also love, you know, essential oils and things that like natural health. Um, what else do I like? Lots of other things I just can't think of right now. So things that I like, you might not like. I also have a lot of like relationship books. I also have a lot of like spiritual books. Um, so it really depends. I'm going to create a a blog post, I think, of all of my book recommendations. So people can go and they can say, "Oh, I love relationship advice. I love personal development," and they can see what my top books are. I'm hoping that helps, but there's so many books. All right, thank you so much. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Mm, mm, mm. So I'm an international student. Fam says I'm an international student in Canada. Are you from Vietnam? That's so cool. Is there a way to speak like a native and texting like they do? It takes practice. It definitely takes practice, but the plan, if you want to speak more like a native, is to look at the accent that you want and then look at your accent and compare what are the differences. If English is not your first language, which it isn't if you're trying to learn English, um, it might be hard to see the differences, to hear the differences. That's when it might be important to have a native speaker or an accent coach. So I'm an accent coach, by the way, where they can look at your accent and say, "Hmm, this this sound doesn't sound like this sound, so we're gonna work on this sound." Um, and usually when we do accent work, accent reduction work, accent training, we are going to look at the biggest problem, focus, work on it, do very specific exercises to fix that muscle memory. Um, I'm trying to think, what are some sounds? For example, people who hmm, people who speak in I'm gonna say Chinese. People who speak Chinese language, for example, they might mix up the R and the L. So they might say "I love you" instead of love you. So if that is a problem, then we would work on just the R and the L and mastering both, and that will make huge changes to their accent. And then after that, we're gonna look at like the next step of what's more obvious in their accent. So it really is, I'm gonna say it's kinda like a marathon. It does take time to improve your accent, and depending on where you are already, but, it is possible to sound more and more American/Canadian, but it takes time, and it's possible to do some self-study and do it on your own, but it might take months, years, or you might never get results. Whereas if you are targeted and you know the techniques, you know the tools, or if you have coaching, you're gonna get there a lot faster. And thank you. See, you love my accent. Do Canadians and Americans speak the same? Generally speaking, yeah. I mean, there are slang words that if I say it, an American might not understand. If Americans say something, I might not understand. There's terms that are different. So, for example, I will call the schooling after high school, I'll say university. I feel like Americans tend to say college, right? So there are different like terms. Depending on where you are in the States and Canada, your accent might be, well, there's some unique accents, but I would say generally speaking, it's the same. All right, so I got a question. How do I introduce myself? Um, it depends on what you want to say, but you say, "Hello, my name is." That's a good place to start. So, "Hello, my name is." Um, I was gonna get my whiteboard out, but I'm hoping that helps. So, my name is, I will take it out. Yep, I'm gonna take it out because there's some connected speech happening. So, when you're introducing yourself, "Hi, my name," because there is an M sound at the end, it's going to go into the next part. So, "My name is," so, "Hi, my name is Jessie." "Hi, my name is Miss. My name is Jessie." So that's a good first step. If you have any specific questions about that, let me know. Uh, mm, where are you here in Canada? So where exactly am I in Canada? I am in the province of Quebec. It's the French-speaking province, and I'm from an English-speaking province. So, hi, miss. Good morning from Bolivia. I like it. I like it. I like it. Hello. Okay, thanks. Do you have online speaking practice through TikTok regularly? Yes, but the best place to find me is on YouTube. YouTube American Accent Training with Jess. That's one of the best places to get me because I have a lot of stuff. So is it common to name a friend or to call a friend? We'll say to call a friend dear, dearie, dear, darling. Yeah, it depends. Um, Kind of like the terms of affection, but yeah, I personally don't, but I don't live in English anymore. But mm. Alors, vous parlez aussi le français? Oui, I do. Oh, that's so kind. Thank you. I think you said you're from Morocco, right? Yeah, Morocco. A lot of nice people in Morocco. Next question. This might be the last one, actually. Okay. A question you might be asking yourself, and I'm actually just going to put this here at the bottom just in case people are interested in my group coaching. A sound that people ask. A sound. A question. A question people ask. Which sounds in my accent make me sound non-native? So which sounds in my accent make me sound non-native? So this is a very, very general question, but this is also a question that I think the person needs to hear your accent to give you personalized feedback, personalized advice. But I will tell you some patterns. So, a good way to know what sounds make your accent sound non-native is to look at your first language because there are certain sounds that exist in, American English, and there are certain sounds that exist in your native language. Some of them are the same. Some of them are sort of the same, but not really. There might be sounds that exist in your language that don't exist in American English and the other way around. So, for example, let's say French. If you speak French as a first language, let's say you're from France, you don't have the th sounds in your language. So you don't have this and that and with. If you speak French, that's gonna be a sound that's going to make you sound not native. If you're from France, you might say this and that, like a Z, like a Z. I'm gonna write that down because some people can't really hear the difference. So I'm gonna write that down. And I always use this example. TH. So, for example, if you are from France, very often I hear a Z sound or an S sound. Okay. And that's incorrect. It's going to go like this. And then for a lot of Quebecers, people who are in the province of Quebec in Canada, I will very often hear a D sound and a T sound. I feel like this is pretty similar to Italians, actually. But so, for example, if a sound, an American English sound, a sound from American English does not exist in your first language, that's probably a sign that you mispronounce it. So instead of saying this and that, you might say this and that, or you might say dis and that. I'm trying to give you the symbol, this and that. Instead of saying with and both, you might be saying with and both, or wit and boat. Ooh. So a good way to, find out general patterns would be to check out your first language and see what sounds people who speak your first language will mispronounce in English. And then what's very helpful is to get personalized feedback to see what you actually mispronounce. And that's going to be through feedback. Sometimes you can get a native speaker to help you. Sometimes you can get an English teacher to help you. But an accent coach is also a really good idea to consult. Right, American accent so fast. Yes, it's because we put all the words together. We connected together. And hola, Francisco Medina de Mexico. Hello. Hola desde Canada. And I think I'm going to end it here because it's 40 minutes. And Doug says, much appreciated. Jesse, way to go. I'm so happy that you appreciate this. I will be live again tomorrow at 10 o'clock, 10, 10 Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, Canada. I'm from Canada. When do you give online practice? What time regularly? So now I'm going Monday to Thursday. I'm coming at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, which is the same as today. It's been 40 minutes, so it's 10:42 right now. And I'm going to do this until the launch of my program. So my 5-week accent bootcamp program to help people improve their accent, get progress in their accent reduction journey. Um, and no, I don't have any French classes on YouTube. Haiti, Haiti. I love it. Good, good, good. All right, so I think I'm gonna end it there on YouTube, on Facebook. Thank you to everyone who's come. If this video is uploaded and ready, there should be a video popping up here. Thank you for everyone who came. Again, if you have questions, click down below. There's a link where I allow you guys to submit your questions. If you have a question, submit a question down below, and I will have it for the next live or the live after that. Take care and bye-bye.